Hi there. In this video I'm going to document some repair I am making to, actually it's a modification, I am making to a Uni-chord Univox Uni-Fuzz. And this is the old unit from the 70s. And these units are notorious for having 120 cycle buzz in them. And I went all through this thing, checking the capacitors and whatnot, and found that nothing's worn out, nothing's broken. It just buzzes like mad due to a poor design. And so I've been modifying this to get rid of that. These are originally AC. You plug them into the wall directly to power them up. So the first thing I did was to see if we can get here. I converted this over to work with a AC adapter. And at first I modified this as little as possible so that the AC adapter would work, you know, with the existing, with as much of the existing circuitry as possible. When I did that, I got perhaps an 80% reduction in buzzing. It sounded a lot less harsh, but there was still some mild 120 hertz buzz left in the pedal. Now what I did was just stick with, the first try was just to stick with the RC filter scheme that was originally in the pedal, and I used a 12 volt AC adapter and then, you know, filtered down with some dropping resistors to add some pressure onto the filtering caps. It was an improvement. It was a significant improvement, and if you didn't mind a little hum, it would work. But I could still hear the hum in there, so I took the power supply apart again, and this time I have made a standard 3-terminal voltage regulator. I've added this in, and it has a filter cap, a bypass cap, and a protection diode on the adjustment pin. Set this up for 9 volts, and I'm still using my 12 volt DC power supply, you know, AC adapter. I removed all of the parts for the original power supply and put in some header pins, and this will mount right in there like that. This is the second time I've rebuilt this. It didn't quite work as good as I liked it the first time, so I've pulled it off. That's why these pins here are a little bent. But it sits in there, and it looks very neat and tidy. I replaced this relay earlier. All the rest of the circuit is stock. I kept the 2 main filter capacitors because they test good. The ESR on them is like less than half an ohm. So even though they're 40 years old, they're still good. One thing I did was I jumped. There was a dropping resistor in between the two, which is unnecessary now with the regulated power supply. So I took that out and I jumped the two together. So now we have 440 UF, which is actually, it's unnecessary, but it still helps. I've got the hum down to, with this, it is barely audible. I would say a 99% improvement over the way it was. One of the things I tried before I decided that the buzz was a bad design was this. The Uni-Fuzz along with the Uni-Vibe come with this ground bus scheme. And I had first tried a star ground, which resulted in a slight improvement in the buzzing, but far less than switching over to an AC adapter did. And there's an interesting thing here is that the lamp they use in these things is powered by the AC 110 volts, so it's actually a neon bulb. So I replaced that with an LED, and I've added in here a 4700 UF filter cap for the DC, the AC adapter. The AC adapter comes in, hits that before it goes to the voltage regulator. So I simmed out this circuit, and it has like about 5 microvolts of ripple in the simulator, that is. And now when I hook this up to a amplifier, what I hear now is quite a bit of hiss, and I presume the hissing was covered over by all the buzzing before it was there. Now I know if I recap all these 10 UF electrolytics, some of the hiss will go away, although I think this is a customer's pedal, so I'm going to return it to the customer to see if they can tolerate the hiss. It's not that awful bad. There's another thing too, the foot pedal, the way the power supply was set up, when you activate the foot pedal, which is this jack here, it runs off, it draws about 35 milliamperes, 36 milliamperes through the power supply, and the voltage to the rest of the circuitry drops down to about 6.5 volts. Then when you release the bypass, it lags. The pedal goes through a second or two of where the volume drops and then comes back up. And that's quite annoying. So with the regulated power supply, the switching is now instantaneous. You push the button and it goes into bypass and comes out of bypass instantaneously. I think that's all I wanted to cover. I wanted to get this videoed before I restart assembling this back into the board. And if you've ever built one of these little perf boards where you knit together the leads from the components, my gosh, do they ever take a long time to do. Okay, so hopefully we'll get this one back to the customer by Christmas here, and he will be a happy customer, happy camper. Alright, if I have any more, I will add it in. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.